Hey guys, thank you for watching the Slat Rock channel. If you're new here, don't forget to check out our previous video, 6 little-known rivalries in WWE that are often forgotten. Also, check out our other high-rated videos by clicking at the upper right-hand corner or check down in the description field. Guys, with WrestleMania 34 out of the way, it's that time of year where fans are excited about the Superstar Shake-up, and so are we. Now, before we make our predictions about who's going where, let's first discuss about superstars who are likely to be exempted from the trade-offs. Firstly, considering her recent success on Raw and keeping in mind her megastar status, the baddest woman on the planet, Ronda Rousey, will not be leaving Raw. Next up, with Nia Jax winning the Raw Women's Championship and the Bludgeon Brothers winning the SmackDown Tag Team Championships at the recently concluded WrestleMania, I think it's logical to conclude that Nia Jax and the Bludgeon Brothers will remain in their respective brands. Moving on, guys, John Cena and The Undertaker have no brand status and will probably remain free agents, so they're off the table to move unless Vinnie Mac does something unusual. Guys, one important question to ask is whether Brock Lesnar is staying around long enough to make roughly the same amount of appearances as he did this past year, or if he's only signed on to last until the Greatest Royal Rumble and will leave after that. What do you think? Anyways, coming to the predictions now. As we all know, Daddy's boy, Jason Jordan, is out of action because of injuries and is expected to return soon. Since Vince is still hell-bent on pushing Jason Jordan, it's very unlikely that he would go to SmackDown. Speaking of Raw, there's no way Raw can sustain its roster with Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Jeff Hardy, Dean Ambrose, Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, Jason Jordan, No Way Jose, and potentially Big Cass if he doesn't move, all fighting for the same 2 titles as babyfaces. Even if a few of those names turned heel, the show would still have too many of the same matches we've seen before, which is the same problem with the current lineup on SmackDown. It's unlikely Strowman will get the attention he deserves with Reigns and Lashley on Raw, so a move to SmackDown could help him finally become world champion. Also, it's been rumored that Vince McMahon wants Seth Rollins to hold the Intercontinental title for a record period of time, and in the process wants the Architect to stay on Raw. Considering all these aspects, I think it seems logical that Balor would be the best fit for moving over to SmackDown. Now, wherever he goes, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows should follow. I'd like to see the reformation of the Bullet Club. I'd like to see them wage war on the Blue Brand's locker room. Tag teams, solo competitors, or simply anyone who gets in their way. It would be a worthwhile trade for Balor, and it would give his WWE career a big push. Coming to Jeff Hardy, I think that we will be seeing him move over to SmackDown Live. I think that WWE is going to want to keep Jeff on separate brands from Matt as a way to keep him away from the Broken Universe stuff. I'm going to guess that there is a big Jeff Hardy singles run to come, and it could happen over on the Blue Brand. As we mentioned earlier, there are so many big names on the Raw roster, and this is a perfect opportunity for a guy like Big Cass to make a big name for himself on SmackDown rather than being lost in the shuffle. If Cass stays on Raw, particularly if people such as Bobby Lashley, Big Show, Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, and Samoa Joe are still there, he'll have no time to change his character and find himself in a post-Enzo Amore universe. Instead, he'll just be the jobber giant who loses to make those other big guys look even bigger. Becky Lynch to Monday Night Raw. Backlash 2016 saw the rise of Becky Lynch when she won the 6-pack elimination challenge to become the inaugural SmackDown Women's Champion. TLC 2016 saw the downfall of the Irish Lass Kicker when she lost the championship to Alexa Bliss. Subsequent losses to Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and a major loss at WrestleMania 33 in a 6-pack challenge for the title disappointed Becky's fans. 2017 was a forgetful year as well. She was taken off of singles action, was paired alongside Naomi and Charlotte to take on the Welcoming Committee. This didn't help in any way, as she always ended up on the losing side on major pay-per-views. A loss at Backlash 2017 and an uneventful Money in the Bank ladder match only summed up how serious WWE management were towards Becky. A ray of hope was seen in 2018 when Becky entered the first Women's Royal Rumble match at number 2 and lasted over 30 minutes until she was eliminated by a newcomer, Ruby Riott. I think Becky is better off working singles matches. Guys, WWE informs that they are taking serious steps to help elevate the women's division in the long term, and I think introducing new championships is one way of doing it. A women's intercontinental title or a tag team title will help a great deal. So guys, I feel that a move to Raw could help rejuvenate Becky's career. She can work alongside Nia Jax, Ember Moon, and other superstars. Becky is a great talent, and I think WWE should treat her in the same way. From being an inaugural SmackDown Women's Champion in 2016, she ended up in a match against James Ellsworth in no time, and she deserves better. Bobby Roode on Monday Night Raw. On the August 22, 2017 episode of SmackDown Live, Roode made his main roster debut with much fanfare. He immediately scored pay-per-view wins over Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin. After Dolph Ziggler vacated the United States Championship on the December 19, 2017 episode of SmackDown Live, an 8-man tournament was set up to crown a new champion, which Bobby won by defeating Mojo Rawley, Jinder Mahal, and Baron Corbin. His 54-day reign as United States Champion was ended by Randy Orton at Fastlane 2018, and despite getting an opportunity at WrestleMania 34 to reclaim the title, he fell short. Although his win percentage is good, for some reason he is unable to connect with the fans as a face. There are some fans that feel there is nothing glorious about Bobby Roode apart from his entrance. In our opinion, he should be drafted to Raw and be a bad guy. His heel run was much better in NXT and is one of the reasons why he made a name for himself while in NXT. Monday Night Raw really lacks top heels at the moment, which is where the Glorious One would be a great fit. Roode should look to fellow NXT alumni Shinsuke Nakamura for inspiration. Even though his heel turn is only a few days old, Nakamura already looks refreshed and full of momentum once again. Roode could muscle his way into the Intercontinental Championship picture by taking down both Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. The possibilities are plentiful when it comes to Bobby Roode heading to Raw. It feels like a no-brainer. Rusev and Aiden English to Monday Night Raw. Rusev is one such wrestler who should have been a world champion by now with his skills inside the ring and on the microphone. Some say it's his attitude outside WWE that killed his push, while others say it's poor booking by WWE. He is now a darling of the fans thanks to the advent of Rusev Day. Rusev made a brave attempt and asked for his release when he realized that WWE is not taking him seriously, and thanks to his effort, he was added to the United States Championship match at WrestleMania 34. Many expected Rusev to break through at WrestleMania 34 and become the WWE United States Champion, but in the end, Jinder Mahal walked out with that title. Added to that, the WWE recently announced that Undertaker will take on Rusev in a casket match during its Greatest Royal Rumble match in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia on April 27th. The ex-US champion decided to have some fun on Twitter after the announcement by addressing Undertaker like very few can. Rusev tweeted, "Bury me softly, brother." Well, at least Rusev was booked in a casket match against The Undertaker in Saudi Arabia. It was announced the day we started recording this video that Chris Jericho would be replacing Rusev in the match. The storyline reason is that Lana begged for her husband to not be in this match. Anyways, it makes all sense for Rusev to move to Raw, not only to rejuvenate his career, but also forget his past losses on SmackDown. He could go after Seth Rollins for his Intercontinental title or start a feud with Bobby Roode. Daniel Bryan to move to Raw. Unfortunately, or fortunately, it is generally believed that Monday nights are where the main players lie, which is why WWE's very own Yes Man and the company's top babyface should be. Now, with AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura seemingly not done when it comes to their feud for the WWE Championship, it points to a change in direction for Daniel Bryan. Daniel showing up on Raw and reigniting his feud with The Miz is something that fans have been dying to see. There's also a rumor/speculation that Daniel might leave WWE in September, and quite frankly, this is a match that absolutely has to happen in the near future. Asuka moved to SmackDown. Vince McMahon did the unthinkable by breaking Asuka's streak at WrestleMania this year. Despite the loss, her credibility is still intact. Raw's women's roster is filled with big names such as Nia Jax, Ronda Rousey, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Ember Moon, and with such an overload of babyfaces, Asuka must head over to SmackDown and continue her dominance. There are reports that the Bella Twins are making a comeback and a possible Naomi heel turn. Judging by Vinnie Mac's booking pattern, we can expect Asuka starting a feud with Carmella and eventually winning the SmackDown Women's title. Also, Vince does not want Asuka and Ronda on the same brand and is saving this feud for next year. Sasha Banks to SmackDown Live. While Sasha Banks will fight Bayley on Raw next week, that should simply act as the culmination of their mini-feud rather than the beginning of it. The boss has slipped badly down the pecking order on Monday nights. She finds herself behind Asuka, Alexa Bliss, and new champ Nia Jax. That's not a good spot to be in. And while the women's division on SmackDown is equally competitive, there's perhaps the suspicion that Banks needs the change more than any other female competitor in WWE to freshen her up. She struggled for TV time and was consigned to the pre-show at WrestleMania. That isn't a spot someone of Banks' ability and popularity should find herself in. Although Carmella has the SmackDown Women's Championship right now, the prospect of Charlotte Flair vs. Banks, or even Becky Lynch vs. Banks, is too good to resist. The Usos and Naomi move to Raw. If Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows go over to SmackDown with Finn Balor, the Usos need to get out of Dodge and help the tag team division on Raw. As it stands, Jimmy and Jay have already had so many matches with the New Day that it would be a good idea to separate them anyway and open them up for some new feuds against The Bar, The Revival, and the Authors of Pain. If the Usos were to make the jump to Raw, it's reasonable to expect Naomi to do the same, as they've been a package deal for a while, particularly after she and Jimmy tied the knot on Total Divas. This has to be something factored into trade ideas, because unless there's a conflicting interest that would demand otherwise, it seems unnecessarily cruel to do. It would be wise to keep Naomi and Jimmy together not just for personal reasons, but also for filming purposes on Total Divas. With the Usos being traded to Raw, is it better to keep the New Day on SmackDown, or should they move to Raw considering who the new SmackDown GM is? So guys, this was the final list. What do you think of it? If you have any fantasy bookings, please share in the comments below. Don't forget to check out our previous video, 6 little-known rivalries in WWE that are often forgotten. And also check out our high-rated videos by clicking at the upper right-hand corner or down in the description field. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe to see more videos just like this one, hit that bell icon to get notified every time we post one of those new videos, and as always, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Thanks for watching.